The world is changing. The world is changing at the speed of light. There are many things happening on any industry that fundamentally changes the way we live, the way we work, the way we play, the way we behave. Some people call it cloud, mobility, analytics, huge data. You should call it business as usual. Because those technologies actually disrupt what we aspire to be a society. These technologies, whether we like it or not, they amplify, they expand the surface of attack. Good afternoon. My name is Ramsés Gallego. I'm a strategist and evangelist at the office of the CTO with Symantec. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be talking about a shift on perception. I'm going to be talking about where we need to shine, where we need to be, what we need to fully understand. And it's at the crossroads where technology meets the art of protecting and defending. There's nothing else. We technologies, we call things. We call it, encryption and endpoint protection and DLP. We call it different things. But there's one thing and one thing only: protect and defend, protect and defend, protect and defend. And living at the crossroads of people using technology, users using data, patients managing their healthcare information, there is truly nothing else. I came here all the way from Barcelona. I landed this morning at 2:20 a.m. from Istanbul, that flight, that Turkish Airlines flight. But just to let you know about the 3 V's of change. The 3 V's of change are the following: the velocity of change, the variety of change, and the volume of change. Let me repeat that, because that's you. That's us. The velocity of change, everything goes very fast these days. The variety of change, how many platforms you have to support? No, really. How many Windows and Unixes and Linuxes and clouds? Clouds in plural. So stop talking about the cloud. I mean, the cloud is great as a concept, but the reality is that you guys are on Box, Dropbox, Office 365, ServiceNow, Salesforce. That's it. That's the reality, right? So the velocity, the variety, and the volume of change. So we have produced a 90-page report, the ISTR, and we have been doing that for 23 years. This is volume 23. It's free. Please go and download it, because the insights from the ISTR from Symantec are second to none. You will realize that criminals, let me say it again, criminals are shifting from ransomware. Does it ring any bell? The WannaCry or Petya, or you call it WannaFly or WannaFlu, call it whatever you want, but call it something, because the guys, I mean, they are bad guys, but they are not stupid, and they are changing from the typical attack to crypto mining attack, crypto jacking, we call it. And I'm not talking about Bitcoin, I'm talking about Monero and the others, because they use CPU, consuming power, consuming computing power in order to mine cryptocurrencies. And you will understand that attacks to the supply chain, unfortunately, I don't have time today to develop that, but let me tell you something. This is something that I love the term in English. It's called living off the land, off with 2 F's. Living off the land means that the bad guys are using things already existing on your computers. Actually, they are using things which are features and functions on your clouds and your devices. Living off the land, meaning living from what the land provides, right? That's an interesting term. All right, so they don't have to be really good engineers or very highly sophisticated developers in order to truly just develop a 4-line script, 4 lines of code that they can put into a website when they poison the website. And then while you think you are browsing the internet, well, you actually are browsing the internet, kind of slow, but it's crypto mining through your browser, is crypto mining, well, cryptocurrencies. So you will learn that if you download ISTR. But again, I need to move on, because I don't have time to follow that. So to develop that in the minutes I have left. Because cyber attacks are just a reality, right? Cyber attacks are here to stay. And from these 27 ugly words, hacktivism, disgruntled employees, scams, worms, viruses, trojans, from these 27, me, that I'm a world traveler, I visit 25 different countries every year, every single CTO, CFO, security manager, compliance director, infrastructure guru, every single one wants to move from this 27, boom, to this 27. Am I right? I mean, you're here for a reason. I mean, you have the GDPR in mind, and you have the threats in mind, and the clouds in mind. So you need resiliency, right? And you need effectiveness and efficiency, and you need metrics, and you need indicators, and you have GDPR aspires to have, well, that's the aspiration of the regulator, full control and visibility on your clouds, and your data centers, and your devices, because the attack surface has expanded, right? So from the previous 27 to this 27, right? You need to avoid that. You need to avoid that, full stop. The next big thing, the next Pearl Harbor, or the next 9/11, or the next whatever you want to call it, it's going to come from a keyboard, madam. It's going to come from a keyboard. Actually, what am I talking in the future? What am I saying is going to come? Actually, it is happening as I'm speaking, addressing you today, which is a privilege. Actually, it is happening as you are here. Well, actually, it has already happened. The problem is that we don't know sometimes. And if you follow GDPR closely, it is explicitly mandated in the law to demonstrate, and I'm quoting, demonstrate ongoing compliance. So auditing is okay, and I come from an auditing perspective, but an audit just shows you, boom, a screenshot, a point in time, right? That you were right, or not, on November the 14th. Boom, the controls were effective, were efficient, or there were no controls. But now suddenly GDPR obliges you to demonstrate, and again I'm quoting, demonstrate ongoing compliance any given time. So we need to avoid, the perfect storm. We need to avoid the perfect storm. That's what we do. That's what we should be doing, right? I mean, when you think on cloud, everybody thinks on a white, like today, right? On a white cloud or a blue, rounded, very nice, the logo, the typical logo of a cloud. Well, there are clouds in my picture, right? I didn't look very white. So in this cloud generation, mark my words, it will rain data. It will rain data. So who's buying umbrellas? That's the question. From the clouds, please, from the clouds. That's the thing, right? So let me move, because as I was developing this session with my colleagues here in the Athens office, thank you guys for inviting me, it's truly an honor. But, we were thinking, Ramsés, you need to let them know about the art of cyber war. The art of war, it was written on the 4th century before Christ by Sun Tzu, a Chinese general. It's a very little book. I mean, you can read it on a commute, on the train, on the bus. I mean, it's really easy, 13 chapters. And it talks about the art of war, right? And it talks about every battle is won before it is fought. Every single battle is won before it is fought. Now, in my mind, that's called monitoring. That's called prevention. That's called identification. That's called the NIST cybersecurity framework. It's called about identification, prevention, detection, because every battle it is won before even you fight. Actually, what he says is you win when you don't fight. That's the ultimate winning in war. In the same book, you can find the following. Know yourself, know your enemy. Know yourself, know your enemy, and you will count 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. Know yourself, know what you do and what you cannot do. Know what you are and what you're not. Know your enemy, and your enemy could be your competition. Your enemy can be, apologies, the regulator sometimes, the environment, the attack surface expanding. So know yourself, know your enemy. You will count 1,000 battles and 1,000 victories, right? Because when I think of war, and again with my colleagues here in the Greek office, we said, I mean, this is fantastic because everybody's looking into one direction, right? Everybody here in this picture has his skills, his weapon, different weapons. I mean, this guy is going backwards. So he's looking in different perspectives. Now you go and tell me, how is that different from this? Very little differences. Different skills, different capabilities, different tools, different perspectives and capabilities. Because cybersecurity is not easy. I understand that. It's quite complex. But it's possible to address the challenges on that. So in the 2 minutes, unfortunately, that I have left, we need to move from the Internet of Things, understand the Internet of Everything. And actually, the hashtag for the Internet of Things is IoT, right? Hashtag IoT. So without changing any letter, hashtag IoT also means the Internet of Threats. And without changing any letter is the Internet of Trouble. And the hashtag keeps being IoT, right? So let me move, because I want to stress out that at the end of the day, everybody wants to know the 5 universal questions, or the 6 universal questions. Everybody wants to know who has access to what, when, and how. Who has access to what, when, and how. There's nothing else. The internal auditor, she wants, or he wants to know who had access to what, when, and how. If you're being taken into court, I mean, your honor might not know nothing about technology, but oh boy, she or he knows quite well how to ask tough questions. Questions like, you were negligent there? So you didn't know that there were healthcare information on that server? So are you telling me that you didn't have controls for that financial information, highly sensitive information, sexual orientation, blood type? Wow. And then GDPR, you know what? We are 37 days away from GDPR today, including 5 Saturdays and 5 Sundays. And actually, May the 25th for GDPR is not the finish line. Actually, it's the starting line. I mean, it looks like the industry is thinking on, wow, May the 25th, we're here. Well, yes, well, that's the start of the marathon, actually. So, all right? So let me move, because I only have, let me share with you the holistic vision in the minute I have left. So we have built at Symantec a platform, and we like the idea of a platform. You know why? Because on a platform, like in civil engineering, over a platform, people build its cathedral. People buy cathedrals on a platform. And whether you like the color or not, of course, I'm an ambassador for Symantec, so of course, but whether you like it or not, whether you like the platform or not, those things you need to understand. Because you need to understand clouds, and you see CASB up there, endpoint protection, and the gateway, and then the data center, and then the clouds. Well, you actually need to understand this, and I love this visual, because the bottom part of the slide, it's on-prem. Things that you should be doing now. Well, you should been doing this for years, but anyway. Classification of information, DLP, encryption, compliance, data center, performance, asset management. And then suddenly, at 3 clicks of distance, because of CASB, you can have the same encryption on any cloud out there. Can I repeat that? Any cloud. You can classify information, and you can embed security with the file. So you can track the file, and you can delete the file, and you can govern the file on Box, Dropbox, Office 365, ServiceNow, Yammer, OneDrive, Google Drive, so back and so forth. That's pretty unique. But actually, that's the aspiration of GDPR, correct? So on each and every information, every discipline that this world is about, we are so honored of having our logo there. Because we didn't believe in silos. For the good or the bad, we are Symantec, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't believe in silos. And we respect those companies that live in silos. We don't. Because we understand the gateway, and we decided to understand the endpoint, and then classification of information, and then two-factor authentication, and then super correlation. Not just correlation of information, super correlation, right? I understand that this is blinking, I need to finish. I thought I had half an hour, so I still have 15 minutes more of presentation, but should I finish now? Really? 2 minutes more. Okay, so let me choose then the slide, right? Because the next 4 slides, I'm talking about GDPR, thank you for that, sir. Those are the things in plain English that are expected for GDPR, am I right? So you need to pseudo-anonymized data, you need to secure access control, you need to train people on cyber risk, etc., right? Okay, let me go back and forth 2 slides. I never do that, but it's worth it to do it today. Because on GDPR, we have a mapping for every single article on GDPR. Can I repeat that again? For every single article on GDPR, let me go back. So for this, we've built a portfolio on, forget about the names of the products. I don't care, really. But I do care that you know that we know. I do care that you understand that we are in the business of growing the business, your business. We are in the business of protecting the business, your business. So my friends at engineering have, this is an Excel file, So this is not a product, this is an Excel file. But they have gone article by article on GDPR, and they have come with binary answers, with maturity models, and then, yes, then, we have put them into our solutions. So do we understand technology? Well, yes. Do we understand GDPR? Well, quite a bit. Do we understand the clouds? Well, yes. Why? Because we are Symantec, because we built a platform. I honestly think that this is not a revolution or an evolution, it's a re-evolution. It evolved from the things that we know, protection, defense, identity management, supercorrelation, two-factor authentication. It evolved from the things that we know, but it certainly revolutionizes the way we do. Let me jump over some slides, because I want to finish with the following, with the 30 seconds, I want to finish with this ask. You connect the dots, please. You just connect the dots. Our guys in engineering have enabled technology to automatically encryption nodes of classification of information, and it requests a two-factor authentication if the information deserves to be protected that way, automatically. We don't believe in a connected security. We believe in an integrated security. And that's why we built a platform. You just connect the dots. That's the difference between success and failure. There's nothing else. That's the difference between success and failure. Because we are Symantec. Thank you very much. It was an honor.